Not really.
We're going through here still, right?
Oh yeah, we're still going through here. Oh yeah.
What is today? Let's see.
It's
Second.
Sunday.
It's the second, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on YouTube.
Thank you, Chris. You're a rock star, dude.
Yep.
I came close to starting smoking again.
Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You know Dennis's last name?
The menace.
That's a man from my church. We haven't gotten to hang out.
Real big use. I'm in no mood.
Thank you all SLEC reps for joining us. We're going to get started soon. I want to remind you that in order for the people on Zoom to hear you, we're just going to keep up with the same decorum. State your name, but this time you're going to want to state your SD as you speak so that the people on the electronic side can hear you. Otherwise, if you're making your motions or whatever it is you want to do, you're going to want to do it right here in this microphone so everybody can hear you, especially over there. In our in-person meetings, probably not as necessary, but for today, let's do it this way. Thank you.
I have one right here, but it's on my computer. How do you want it?
However you can get it. I don't think I have the shared doc
Thank you.
anymore, so if it's a Google Doc, just send me a link.
It is.
I can go open the mic share one again with you if you want.
Let me go back and see if I no longer have the mic share, so I'll need that. Hang on a second.
I can also cut and paste into Discord.
Where's my text editor? I might be able to find it again. Where's the mic share? Is that the mic share? That is the mic share. Got it. So just put it up there. Thank you.
Okay. I'm making some adjustments, but I'll have it in just a second. Just trying to...
Yes. I elected him.
farther. Yeah, I want to keep. You sit where you want, Kyle. You sit where you want. Yeah.
At least I found another office chair.
Okay. I'm gonna send this to Mike. Mike's getting some. Block.
Well, we can do introductions. You can. That's what I'm trying to figure out. The thing that you want. I mean, ultimately, if you want to take the most you can, I think it's going to go the same way it did last time. People are going to say, well, why can't we talk about this in the next meeting? And we're going to debate it. I really don't think electioneering around it is the right thing. Just let it fail. So I'm taking an error. It did fail. It got to the next meeting. Yeah, and then it failed the next meeting.
Relax, chill a little.
10 degrees cooler.
Is it really?
Hot mics and hot lights.
Yeah, that we do.
Sunday one.
Can you give that to Nathan and tell him it's from me?
Okay.
Nathan,
I'm
Kyle's got my badge, my voter coming.
gonna walk away.
That's my voter button. Kyle has.
You want to borrow one?
Just so you don't come hunting me down later.
John, you no longer vote now, so well, I'll just
Okay.
because
Wasn't my color.
I figured you.
the goal, I think,
Thanks,
happens
Kyle.
directly in the gallery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, which end is you can use your, okay, of course, okay, perfect.
It's an order maker.
Microphone is.
I know, I can't get it to not do that, but Tim probably can, because he's magic. Perfect. Let Tim do it. He'll know. He'll fix it.
It was seriously $1.75 for 17.50 of those. Let's go. Let's go.
And I'm having to do that.
Please.
This is what she needs help with. She doesn't know why this is being. I need it, but. I got you. I'm magic.
I will be as soon as I get the list from Arthur. Into the Zoom. Right now, I'm taking a break. Just tell them we're taking a break. I'll handle it. You're on Slack, right? Okay. I don't. Yeah, mine's 4.5. I will not be staying. I am going home.
We're just about to get started, fellow members of SELECT. I want to welcome you. I have a quick request. If you are staying the night tonight, if that's you, we were trying to organize a quick, can you mute that right over there? We're trying to organize a small group of volunteers to help the mayor of Big Spring, Shannon Thompson, in a small project, something he could use your help in. But if you're spending the night, one more night, and you're interested in helping the mayor, Shannon, please get with Joe Burns right in the back, and he'll help you and direct you of how you can help Shannon in something very special, okay? We appreciate that. We're gonna be getting started here in just a minute.
So Mike, do you have that?
No, I don't have that list. It's not up on the document.
No, it's in on Discord.
Just to repeat what Joe just said, Shannon needs our help. So if you're able to do it, please consider sticking around and helping out. Mr. Shannon, he's been incredibly helpful to the convention committee. I've gotten to know him. He's a great leader, a great friend, and if you can help him, we'd appreciate that.
Let me get back into Discord.
Sorry, Mike.
I wanted to snooze.
Yeah, we're gonna have to use some of the same
Whoa.
mechanisms.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, it's a big. Sorry, that's what I had typed out.
I'll make it work. And then
Okay, so this mic, I'm just gonna disconnect.
Is that sufficient? Is this sufficient?
I don't know.
What?
That's the only way they have
There's
to
a
hear
mic
me.
over there.
Sorry, wrong car. Okay. If you scooch it this way a little bit. That's all. Thank you. That's the part that I committed to fix. That swivel right there.
I'm just looking at the people who are in the waiting room.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm not even going through the list. I'm just doing a search on the list.
I was beginning to think y'all didn't love me no more.
Yep.
I'm back.
Eugene Flynn is one.
Any computer techies on here I can pick their brains real quick?
Just Roberts is too.
Hey, Mike Dooling, are we trying to keep our bandwidth down by not streaming video as well, unless we need to?
Is Richard Sean Trojak?
I guess you can't hear me.
Trojak?
Yes, it's the same person.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to assume we're going to try to save bandwidth while not showing video. So even though I do like seeing your beautiful faces, there's, it's one of them things.
And I believe Tony Valdivia is. Yeah,
I know he was.
Tony Valdivia is back on.
Okay.
Just put he's online on that and leave that with me. Don't leave me something. But fill out as much of his information as you can. Oh, the car, just, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's. Yeah. Just put he was online.
Okay. Everybody who is remaining has been checked in. I'll go check Discord now.
Okay.
And get my earbuds in so I can hear if they're talking.
Hey, now you can hear us.
Now I can hear you. Yeah, I was busy, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I just had a quick question. I assume we're trying to save bandwidth by not broadcasting video unless we need to, right?
We can try it at this point since it's not as large a delegation.
All right. I'm just assuming not, so I was kind of shutting everybody's video off. But
I mean, I can.
So we can turn it on?
Gallery view, and we can post it up.
yeah, I suppose so. Just remember that we are streaming live on YouTube now, so the whole world can see everything and hear everything.
So no nose picking.
Well, you know, it is 2020. The rules don't apply
James,
anymore.
trying to put some attempt into behaving yourself.
So is video cool or not? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Let's
Because
try
we're
it.
not going to have 100 people in it or whatever it was, 50.
Okay, dig it.
Just trying to show off your new haircut there, John.
There's quite a lag. Yeah.
My
video's still blocked.
Picture in the back there.
There wasn't one before.
The which one?
Albert, right there.
Oh, over your shoulder. Yeah, I see that. That's cool. Is that
Yeah.
a print?
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, it is only to the individual that the soul is given.
Nothing stopped him before.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's why I'm sitting in front of a green screen, because the only thing behind me is a closet with all kinds of shit hanging out of it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really big lag.
Yeah.
I wonder why it's doing that. That could cause a problem.
My video still says the host has stopped it. This is Joe Roberts.
Stephanie Weiss has just joined the Zoom. Hey, Stephanie. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Here yet.
No, we should tell them if there's like a
Also, wasn't there when we asked to rename our stuff to like RSD?
Hey, Tim.
Yeah, I think that's the nomenclature we're going with is name and SD.
Okay.
Because I think it's this side that we're having it.
Man, that's like 30 seconds. Yeah.
Guys, we've got about a 30-second lag. I'm going to try to hook up with Tim to figure out if we can resolve it. When you guys come out of the speakers here, it's about 30 seconds later than what I'm hearing online.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. I've got an earbud in and I'm hearing you guys in real time, and then I hear you coming over the speaker. So
Hey, Mike Dooling, can you hear me? This is Brooke.
I can hear you, Brooke. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, Brooke.
Hey, guys.
Sound coming on out of
My computer here.
Step away for a restroom break. I'll be right back.
I need to talk to Tim about it.
The update.
Could you rejoin Zoom in that with that computer?
Probably.
I know it's going to cause a little
I wonder
noise.
if I should unplug the audio and plug it back in, see what happens there.
You can. I don't think it'll.
Try jiggling the handle too.
It's a Zoom lag thing.
Okay, it's got the focus right. It's got the focus right. My broadcaster. Chris, I'm going to jump off and jump back on.
Okay.
Discord? I would share, Mike's a little busy now, but I would share those directly with him to Mike on Discord. Like you can send a direct message. And he'll have them on his computer.
How's that? Is that better?
Oh, and you want to show it yourself? Well, there. Sorry, Mike. Can I ask you a question?
Hang on just a minute.
I think you can just plug that ASAP port in. You have a. I think we could do that. Although the Zoom people wouldn't be able to see it. Actually, that causes a problem.
Okay, so I have to share my screen. Is it a problem if I'm invited?
What's up on the screen right now? The Zoom is going 5 across.
Looking at the stage.
Because I have 2 grids. So.
Is the audio fixed?
I don't know. Talk to the mic.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
That's better.
Okay.
Yes, Arthur, we can hear you.
Do we need to test this one?
We are good.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully we have everybody here. Raise your hand if you're a SLEC member. Okay, so we've got a couple people sitting more forward who are not SLEC members, so let's just keep in mind who we all are. All right, it is now 4 o'clock. Ooh, we gotta turn that off.
Somebody on Zoom has their YouTube. Please mute yourself.
Yeah, just mute yourself or mute them. There you go.
We need to decide anything we need to do about the people who are not online because they want getting all.
Oh man, that's delayed.
It's the speakers. Where's Tony? Tony.
I'm inclined to
Tim.
do it, but I don't know if it requires a rules change because I have so much rule on that.
For some reason, these speakers are lagging.
Is it done? Okay, so at this time, we are going to call to order the first meeting of State Libertarian Executive Committee of Texas for the 2020 to 2022 session.
Tim.
We'll hear it again. Justin.
I have no idea. I just restarted Zoom.
It's somebody's first time owning a
No,
computer.
there's some delays.
Is it a delay?
Yeah, it's not.
I've got everybody muted here, but this.
The only reason, so the only reason, if she speaks in that mic and it comes out the speakers immediately, it's my setup. But if it's delayed and hitting the internet first, that's something going on in Zoom.
Everyone's muted though.
Yep.
Then it's this mic. How delayed is the Zoom meeting? Is it that far?
It's like 30 seconds.
Well, then what we're hearing is Zoom, not.
Because we haven't had this problem the whole time. I think so.
No, what we can do is you can go ahead and talk. I'm going to go ahead and kill this. And when they need to speak, they're going to have to do something on like with the
Yeah,
chat. They're
we'll
gonna
have to
chat.
listen.
They have to just listen. Yes, you can talk.
Okay, so I'm Whitney Billiou, for those who didn't catch that. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Obviously, we're doing our call to order now. One of the things that I want to institute and make sure that we do at our SLEC meetings as we're going around and trying to engage with other communities like we are doing here, and we had this opportunity here in Big Spring this time, is at our meetings, since they are public, is allow an opportunity for public comment. So at this time, I would like to invite anybody who is not a SLEC member, who just has something to say or ask or anything at all, any members of the public who are here who have anything to say. Okay, Thank you. I have just this little rough agenda that I have today. These are the only things that I intend to do. If you wanted to make it more formal and adopt it, that's fine with me. Otherwise, I don't, unless Arthur says we have to, we will. There's someone at the microphone who is seeking to be recognized.
Yes, John Wilford, member from Senate District 12. In recognition that our secretary is not here, I move that Arthur Thomas be our interim secretary for this meeting.
Are there any objections to Arthur Thomas serving as temporary secretary for this meeting? Other than his. Okay, well then, yes, Arthur Thomas will be the temporary secretary. Thank you for doing that.
Madam Chair.
Yes?
Timothy Martinez, SD 25. I just want to make a point of information. Just wanted to let you know and the body know that if anybody attending on the Zoom meeting wants to be recognized, they'll have to use their chat feature to get the attention of Arthur and Mike Dooling. If you simply unmute your mic and try to be recognized, that won't work at this time. So just make sure if you're attending on Zoom that you choose the chat feature to be recognized so we can turn the volume up. That was the only point of information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the next thing that I would like to do is just figure out who we all are and go through our roster and do a roll call. So if do you have it ready?
I have the list, yes.
Okay. And I had a request from someone earlier. I don't know necessarily that a motion is necessary, but Mr. Perez did ask that if, while we're doing the roll call, if we also use that time, since this is our first time together, to just, 30 seconds or so, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from. We're going to know your Senate district, but we may not know your county or your town. So just to provide a little bit more information about yourself to this body so that we know who we're going to be working with over the next 2 years.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Would it be also appropriate for those people who've been on SLEC more than once during that introduction to possibly give something they wish they knew when they first started this role?
If they choose to do that, I think that would be fantastic. Yes. Thank you. All right. So are you ready for the roll call? What's that? It's the same one. It's the same one that's been on all day. Right?
The Sunday one.
Yeah, whichever one was labeled for Sunday.
It's in delegate info still.
If that is someone who is in Discord, it should be in the delegate info channel.
Only SLEC members will be allowed in the Zoom.
Okay, and only SLEC members are going to be allowed in the Zoom. Otherwise, people can watch on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
It's up on the LPTexas YouTube.
Okay. All right. Okay, if you're ready for the roll call.
Rudy Wright. Did you want people to, do you want to say anything about yourself?
I'm from Smith County. Been on SLEC once for a brief round, and decided to be here again. I guess that goes. Yeah. Hi, Rudy Wright, Smith County. From Tyler, Texas. It's my second round of being on SLEC. First time was a number of years back, so I'm excited at all the fresh energy that we can feel in the air, and just real passionate about liberty and honored to be here with you guys.
Joseph Duncan.
Joseph Duncan, SB1, Franklin County, Mount Vernon. Nothing much to say, really. I joined the party in 2016, still kind of figuring things out. And so, yes, if you have advice or anybody has advice about what we're about to get into, I would really appreciate it. Thanks.
Kevin Hale.
Kevin Hale, Dallas County as well. I'm running for Congress. I've been on SLEC for 4 months, thereabouts, minus the COVID. And I'm looking forward to working with our new esteemed female staff. And I'm very proud of that. And I think we should promote that, especially since we have a woman running for president. I look forward to working with all of you.
Doug Crawl. Can you go to the mic? Well, there's people on Zoom.
We won't have to do this. We'll have regular meeting rooms, but thank
I'm
you
Doug
for-
Kroll, SD3. I'm in Hardin County in the town of Lumberton, Texas. My first term on SLEC.
Nathan Moxley.
Yeah, I'm Nathan Moxley, also Senate District 3 from Montgomery County, the city of Montgomery off Lake Conroe. And this is my first full term on SLEC.
Scott Ford.
Hello, Scott Ford. This is my third term on SLEC. They all start to blend together. You're gonna get really tired of hearing me talk about the Leadership Academy, but that's gonna be my big thing that I really want to get done that can help the entire party. For those of you just joining the party for the very first time, or those of you just joining SLEC for the very first time, this is kind of a miniature version of our state convention. Your best thing is to start learning Robert's rules, because through Robert's rules, you get to speak.
Eric Tanner.
Just so you guys know, we're going in order of SD, so of Senate districts. So that's, be prepared in that way.
Eric Tanner, Montgomery County, Woodlands area. I've been county chair for 3 years, and I'm looking forward to working at the state level.
Philip McKenzie.
Hello, Philip McKenzie, Williamson County. I'm currently serving as the chair. I've been on that committee for about 3 years. Also was elected with the new district election procedures that we put in place from the last convention. That was done about a year and a half ago. And I've been serving with Amy on Senate District 5.
Amy Brown.
I'm Amy Brown, and most of you probably know me already just from being around for a while. I served this previous term on SLEC and was on the platform and convention committees this last cycle, and I really love getting to serve with all of you guys.
Kathy Glass.
Kathy Glass, SD7, Harris County, Hockley, Texas. It's close to Houston. I mean, close to Harris County. It's about an hour and a half away. I've been on SLEC several terms, and I'm looking forward to this one.
Jody Cole. I think Jody's on Zoom.
Jody's on Zoom. Go ahead, Jody.
Yes. Jody Cole, SD7, Harris County. I live in Cypress, Texas, and this is my first time on SLEC. Can you hear me?
Okay, after we ask you to speak, you're gonna have to wait about 30 seconds for everything to catch up.
Are you talking to me, Jody?
Yes, Jody. Everyone online.
Okay. So start again.
Yes, Jody, go ahead.
Okay. Jody Cole, SD7. I live in Cypress, Texas, in Harris County, and this is my first time on SLEC.
We're stuck in time.
Thank you.
Sean Jones.
Sean Jones, Senate District 8, second term chair for the Collin County Party as well.
Thank you. You waited until now to break.
Mike, go ahead and mute it. Go ahead and mute the speaker, please. And I'd just like to let everyone know what's happening is somehow a YouTube link is linking back into our feed. That hadn't happened all weekend, and it's happening now. So I don't know if, Madam Chair, I recommend that maybe we take a different approach with the people online speaking at this time. Yeah.
Can we shut down the YouTube?
Yeah, I don't know how you want to figure that out, because there's a delay between us talking to them and them hearing us. There's a big delay. So it's going to be an issue.
So is that what you're saying, Becca?
So
sorry.
it sounds like they can hear you on Zoom and you can communicate them quickly on Zoom, but then YouTube is louder and we're hearing it after. We're hearing both things. Yeah, we're hearing Zoom instant feedback, and then we're hearing the YouTube 30 seconds later. And I don't know how that's happening. Yes, we can end the YouTube stream. Yeah.
I'm not hearing a lag anymore.
Okay.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
All right,
We
we'll
asked
try
them
it.
all to mute their YouTubes. It's working? You can raise the speaker up and we'll hear if I hear myself.
It's up.
All right. I'm going to continue. Kathleen Stokes. Was she on?
Hey, I'm remote. Let me see. I'm here.
Is that Kathleen?
We're good. I think so. Is that Kathleen?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kathleen. I'm Senate District 8, Collin County. It's in the Dallas area, if you don't know. It's my first time on SLEC. I was there at the convention this weekend, but I had to go ahead and leave. So I got to meet a lot of you, and I forgot what else I was going to say. So,
Thank you.
thanks.
Renee Paris.
Rene Perez, also known as Otilio Rene Perez Jr. Sometimes that causes some confusion on the paperwork. Senate District 9, Tarrant County, and I reside in the city of Arlington.
Jeffrey Adams.
Yes, I'm SD 10, Southern Tarrant County, points southeast from here. This is my third time to be on SLEC. Looking forward to seeing new people.
Elizabeth Miller.
Hi, y'all. This is my first term on SLEC. I'm from Tarrant County. I live in the mid-cities near DFW Airport. You can park at my house when you need to fly. And this is the first time I've ever served in any capacity with the party, so feel free to help me out. Thanks.
Bob Townsend.
I'm Bob Townsend, Senate District 11. It's not my first time as a select member. Been a select member of multiple districts. So if you need any help, be sure to reach out.
John Hom.
John Hom, Galveston County, League City, Texas. In addition to what Scott was saying about learning Roberts, your next best move with this body is to bring your patients at all times. It is boring, gratifying, frustrating, truly important work that moves, but it moves at its own speed. And the more patient you can be with it, the more you're going to get out of it. And I wish everybody the best of luck.
Brooke Bailey.
I'm Brooke Bailey, SD 12. I recently moved to Flower Mound in Denton County, and I'm now, was previously in SD 9. This will be my third time on SLEC.
John Wilford.
My name is John Wilford. This is my second time serving as a district rep. I was a district rep once 6 years ago in 2012. And to piggyback on some of what Scott said, if I could give one piece of advice to newer people, it's this. A lot of people get on SELECT because they're impassioned about an issue. They want to see some kind of change. Maybe they want more transparency. Maybe they want to see more money in the coffers. Whatever your issue is, I want you to approach your issue with this attitude. SELECT is filled with a bunch of hardworking, well-intentioned, good people. And they may be doing stuff in a way that you don't understand why they're doing it. But I promise you, they are not doing it because they don't want to see that same issue moving forward too. And take some time to figure out the reasons they're doing it, because running in with a whole new strategy does not fix things. It puts us back at square one. The other thing I want to say in regard to Robert's Rules of Order is it is more important than ever to learn it, because you're going to have more power than anyone else if you learn it, because here, I think later this month, a new edition of Robert's Rules of Order is coming out, and there will be new rules. I don't know what those changes are, but you could get a head start and really have some sway on this body. So I encourage you to figure that out.
Lee Sharp.
Lee Sharp, SD 13, which is a weirdly shaped sliver of bizarreness in mostly Houston and a little bit of Fort Bend. This is my second term on SLEC. 2 years ago, I joined with high hopes and ideals of forming the perfect libertarian society, and then I met all the other perfect libertarians. If there's one thing I could recommend, it's patience. However you can get it. But a lot of good can be done. It just takes time and again, patience. And also my second hat as IT director, I'm going to ask for more patience because it's going to take a while to get all the new names done and into the forums. And I know who's next. My good woman with bad judgment.
I am Ada Gonzalez,
Thank you.
also in Harris. This is my first time, and darn, I'm gonna be a student again, having to learn everything else. So I'll need some help.
Have you come in again?
Ted Brown.
Thank you. Hi, Ted Brown from SD 14 in Austin and Travis County. My first time on SLEC, but I've been attending the meetings as an observer for the last 2.5 years. And yes, even so, I still wanted to serve. So, but no, I might have been a member of the party longer than just about anybody. I'm in my 42nd year as an LP member. And I've been to a lot of libertarian meetings. I was chair in California and served for over 20 years on the California Executive Committee. So this is a totally different ball game because California only has 15 members and it's a much smaller group. I just said, what? There's that many people on the Texas Executive Committee? But I've come to see how that works, and I very much look forward to serving on the committee.
Stephen Haskett.
Stephen Haskett, SD 14 out of Travis. This is my second full term. I just want to point out to the body that every minute we waste is over a man hour of lost productivity.
Alan Smith.
No need to wipe. Alan Smith, SD 15, COVID survivor and carrier of antibodies. This is my third time on SLEC and Rules Committee. So anyway, I'm looking forward to a very productive 2 years.
I'll have to clear that up in a minute. Richard Trojek. Correct me if I did that wrong.
Yeah, it's Sean. It's Sean. Richard's my first name. Sean Trojek rhymes with logic when you get confused looking at it. Originally hailed from Ellis County, but I've been in Harris County for a number of years now. So Harris County, Cypress, Texas, first term. Looking forward to the spectacle. Thank you.
Kyle Russell.
Yeah, SD 16, Dallas County, Irving, Texas. This is my second term. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Mike Dooling.
Mike Dooling, SD 16, Carrollton, Dallas County. I like IT.
It's my third term.
Elliot Sherman.
Thank you. This is actually my fourth time getting elected to SLEC, but this will be my third time serving. I had a tie with Carol Unsicker on the last session and deferred to her and let her have it. So I'm very well versed in Robert's rules. I've been doing it since I was in college in a fraternity when we ran our meetings that way. I really want to see if we can work together. Think about what's good for the party, think about what's good for the people in the party, think about what's good for the body that we're representing. Okay. Thank you.
Chris Clements.
Hey, Chris Clements, SD 17, chair of the Nudie Bar Caucus. I'm also chair of Fort Bend County, and I work in development with the national body. This is my second term. I would say for the first timers, listen more than you talk. Remember, everyone makes mistakes, and just give everybody the benefit of the doubt as long as you can.
Andrew Ameling.
Andrew Ameling, Senate District 18.
here representing Washington County, of which I'm the chair. I'm also the State Development Director and Director of Texans for Joe Jorgensen. This is my third time to be a member of this body, and just happy to be here and happy to see some new faces and some old friends. Looking forward to a very exciting term under the leadership of guys. So this is fun. So.
Tony Valdivia.
Yes, my name is Tony Valdivia. Can you hear me?
Yep.
We got you, Tony.
Excellent. I represent Senate District 19, which is the largest geographically. It covers a little sliver of San Antonio and then goes all the way down to the border, covers all or part of 17 different counties, most of which are not affiliated. I live in San Antonio and am currently vice chair of the party here in Bexar County. And as far as advice goes, I agree with understanding, Robert's Rules of Order. It's bringing a cheat sheet to the first few meetings, definitely a great thing to do. And then the other thing I would recommend is checking in on the SLEC forum on a regular basis. That's one of the main ways we're going to be communicating. Communication is key, both through the forum and, as you have events in person, you start learning about other people that live in districts that might be on the other side of where you are in the state, and good way to make friends and also help joint causes. Thank you.
Paul Dar. Oh, yeah, sorry. Janae LeBlanc. Sorry about that.
I'm Janae LeBlanc, Senate District 18. This is my first term on SLEC and the county chair of Matagorda County, Bay City. And I am here to listen and learn from all of you and help where I can. And any advice is really appreciated.
Paul Dar.
Hello, my name's Paul Dar. I'm also in SD 19 like Tony. Moved to Texas about 7-8 years ago into Bexar County. Previously had been active in the California LP out there and had done some different work at different levels out there. Excited to have spent the past few years learning about Texas and now get involved in LP events out here in activism.
Nathan Garza.
Hi, my name is Nathan Garza. This is my first term on the SLEC, and I hope to learn a lot from all of y'all. Thank you.
Adam Ray.
Adam Ray. I'm from Corpus Christi. I'm the chairman for Nueces County. This will be my first term with SLEC. I've got several years of experience professionally with rules and procedures, and I look forward to working with everybody here and furthering the cause of the LP.
Rick Hubbard.
I'm Rick Hubbard. I'm from Hays County. I'm from that little sliver of Hays County in SD 21. If I could give one word of advice to new members, watch and listen. It's the best way to learn, and keep an open mind.
Nolan Schmidt.
Hello, I'm Nolan Schmidt from Guadalupe County, where I serve as vice chair. I'm from Seguin, and I'm looking forward to serving my first term on SLEC.
Tommy Attaway.
Tommy Attaway, Johnson County Chair, live in Alvarado. This will be my second term on SLEC. I was on from 16 to 18.
C. Paul Kiefer.
Paul Kiefer. I come from, I'm in SD 22 from Maple, Texas. And I think the LP party and Shannon Thomason and Big Springs did an awful job putting this together in 9 days. I really do. I'll take the advice of the gentleman before. This is my first time on SLEC. I'll keep my mouth shut, my eyes and ears open, and try to learn something. Thank you.
Eugene Flynn.
You're muted, Eugene.
Yeah, I was looking for the click. Big screen here.
Been on select before, first time back in 2000. Also served as historian. Hopefully I'll stay on that. Other than that, repeat what everyone else has said about learning as much as you can. And anybody has any questions, I'm available. Thank you.
Joseph Roberts.
Hi there, Joe Robertson, District 23. I'm on a runway getting ready to take off. First term on select, long-term fan of Liberty, and I hope to rejoin you in the air. Glad to be a part, and this is the last time you'll hear collective wisdom from the word collective from me, but I'm looking forward to learning from collective wisdom from all of you.
Thanks, Joe. He's on speaker, so. That's
Nancy Neal.
Nancy Neal. I live in Bee Cave, Texas, which is a hill country just outside of Austin, suburb of Austin. I've known Ted Brown about 40 years, I think, because I too am from California, but I came here in 1992. My first libertarian activity was 42 years ago. I don't remember exactly when I joined the party. And I've been on select. I kind of stepped in and organized a state convention that turned out wasn't getting organized, put a big thing together in like 3 months, and subsequently got elected secretary. And then have been on select for a few terms since then as well. But it's been a few years. So thank you.
Joe Burns.
Joe Burns, SD 24. So I guess second term on select. The one thing I would advise for all of you new folks is when you do finally get permission to get into the forums, please look for the settings and set your notifications because you can set them in a way that you will receive an email notification every time somebody makes a comment. You can subscribe to the individual threads. You can unsubscribe to individual threads. You can get as much notification as you want or as little notification as you want. But that's the only way to keep up with what we do on this body in between the quarterly meetings. Obviously only happen 4 times a year. So that would be my advice. I look forward to working with all of you guys to move the ball of liberty forward and to focus on our true enemy, which is the duopoly. I think we can all agree on that. So let's agree to what we can agree on and move those balls down the line. Thanks, guys.
Michael Hansen.
Yeah, this is Michael Hansen, Senate District 25 out of Hayes County. I'm the vice chair there. This would be my 3rd time serving on select, non-concurrently. I would, out of all the advice you've received, all great advice, I would highly recommend you build healthy relationships with all of those you're serving with on select, including and especially those you don't agree with. You have to work with everybody in order to get this stuff done.
Tim Martinez.
Hey, everyone. Timothy Martinez, SD 25. I live in New Braunfels, Texas on the Comal River. I float it every weekend because I wake up in New Braunfels every day. I'm just kidding. This will be my 2nd term on select. So I'm excited about that, serving with all of you guys. And I've learned a lot in this last term, and I'm excited to push that forward. I've done a lot with the party since I got in 2012, rolled up my sleeves and just asked what needs to get done. Does I need to run the microphone around the room, pick up trash, scrub toilets, write policy, serve on cabinets, whatever needs to get done. It's kind of my attitude. I've been a monthly donor for as long as I can remember. And one of the things I could tell you as far as the best advice I could give you is this. You're going to be spending other people's money. You're going to be directing other people's talent and time. So make sure you've got that same amount of skin in the game. What we need is a body of people united in our energies, in our efforts, in our treasures, focused on one thing, like Joe said, bringing down the duopoly and expanding liberty to all. So I would give you this other piece of advice. There's a wealth of knowledge available to you right now. If you're willing to spend the time between now and the next time we meet, read the policy manual, read Robert's Rules of Order. Look at our rules and understand them. Take your time. Take your job seriously. Those rules and that policy manual and our platform, it's very important that you know them so that when we arrive together, we're all on the same page. Thank you, guys.
I'm Arthur Thomas. I'm present. I'm the next person. I guess I've been officially a member of the Libertarian Party since 2005. I joined SLEC in 2011, and I was secretary for a term as well. And the main advice I would give you, all the other advice is great too, but just communicate with each other. A lot of times people want to have ideas and they sort of wait till the meeting to talk about them. And we only have, if we have quarterly meetings, that's 4 days out of the year that we get to talk about stuff. But all the time, space in between a meeting is communication time. If we only communicate at meetings, we aren't effective as a group, regardless of our ideas or what our intentions are. We exist all year, not 4 days out of the year. So please communicate. Sean Huckabee.
Hi, I'm Sean Huckabee, SD 26, current chair of Bayer County and candidate for Texas House District 120 and dope smoking anarchist. And I am on my first term in SLEC, and I am looking forward to chewing bubblegum and promoting liberty, and I think I'm out of bubblegum.
Frank Lozano.
Oh, he left. He had to leave. Yes, he had to catch a flight.
Is he online?
No, he's at the airport catching a flight back home. Back to McAllen. Yeah, he was supposed to have it in his backyard and he caught a flight out here. Yeah, so.
Christopher Robinson.
He's waiving his right to talk, but he's here.
But he's here?
Come on.
Oh.
I'm much better written than spoken, and I'd really like to not have to prove that, so I'll keep it short. It's my first term, SD 28. I live in Tom Green County, San Angelo, and that's it.
Nathan Peer.
Hey, I'm Nathan Peer. Hopefully this doesn't sound horrible. I'm beaming in from Korea. This is my first time on SLEC. Happy to represent SD 28. I live in Lubbock and I'm the chair in Lubbock County. Thank you.
Ronald Cook.
Thank you. Ron Cook, SD 30, Parker County. I live in Weatherford, and my first time on the committee.
Teresa Regal.
Hi, I'm Teresa Regal, also from Parker County. I've been on SLEC for about a year and excited to work with y'all. Thanks.
Colby, you say your last name. I don't want to. I'm getting like 3 different names of here.
Colby Micey, chair of the Libertarian Party of Midland County. This will be my first term on SLEC, so just looking forward to getting to work.
Jack Westbrook.
Hi, Jack Westbrook, District 31. I am from Amarillo, Texas. Amarillo, Texas is split between 2 counties, Potter County and Randall County. I used to live in Potter County and I was the chair there. And then I moved to Randall County, and as I closed the business of everything we did today, I was elected to the new chair because the old chair is moving to Midland. I've run for office in several different occasions, but primarily for Texas State Senate against Kel Seliger, got 24% of the vote. And I am currently, as I stated earlier, running for the House of Representatives in my district. I do really want to tell you a couple of things about myself. One is my expertise is in public speaking and document control management. I tell you that because those of you who've been doing this is my first time in SLEC, by the way. So for those of you who are already in committees or are going to be in new committees or whatever, heading committees, if I can help you in any way, I'd be happy to do that. Don't hold my personality against me, if you will.
1 second. Okay, so apparently one of the district caucuses was held online, and they sent me an email that I didn't know about them because I didn't get the sheet. But Aaron Ramos, I found the email they sent me.
Okay.
So I have the records from the minutes.
Okay, so is Aaron Ramos in Zoom?
Right here.
All right.
I'm Aaron Ramos. I'm in a weird gerrymandered district on the east side, north side, south side of Houston. I'm the Texas State Coordinator for the Radical Caucus, and I've been a Libertarian for a few years now, but I'm getting more and more involved at more local levels now. And this is my first time serving.
Thank you. Is that?
That's all I have. Oh, yeah, I have to ask Saul too. Okay, I guess I can do that. Whitney, Billy.
I'm here. So for those of you who don't know, I live in Cypress. It is still a Houston address, but it's basically 1 block from Cypress, and which is northwest of Houston. I've been with the party since 2012. When Arthur mentioned 2005, it reminded me of something. Within my first year of being here, I started just volunteering time for the person who was then our executive director, I believe she was. Just needed help with like stuffing envelopes and mailing out to people who had reached out for information. And she gave me the list of basically our list of everybody who was in our database, and my name was on it from 2005. And it was 2013 when she gave me this list. And what I realized at that moment is that in 2005, I had reached out to the Libertarian Party of Texas, and no one ever called me. And so that has been sort of a goal for me to make sure that we don't have that. So making sure that we're communicating and keeping up with people and reaching out a hand to them when they're reaching out to us. It's something that's very important to me. I want to continue developing this organization financially. We've got a development department that is going to help us do that. I intend to make that one of our very, very first initiatives, which we can talk more about at our next meeting, of course, make more decisions then. I do want to look at all the departments we have in place. I know we have some really solid staff members already, of course, volunteer staff. For those of you who don't realize that, we don't pay anybody yet. Yeah. I believe you do get what you pay for, and if we want solid people to do solid work, we need to pay them. And so we need to be thinking about recruitment for that sort of thing. I hope that the people who are in the departments already will stay. That is something that I'll be reaching out to them over the next couple of weeks to talk about, and then we can, come up with more plans moving forward. The main thing that I wanted, well, actually, I'll save it for the next agenda item. Anyway, that's me. I'm here.
Becca Congdon.
Hello, Becca Congdon. I'm from San Antonio. I joined the party officially in 2014 in Comal County, and then moved to Bexar County, was the secretary there for 2 terms and then the chair there for a year. This will be my 2nd term on SLEC, and as vice chair this time. And my biggest advice to anyone is to, echoing what Tim Martinez had said earlier, invest in this party. You have time, talent, and treasure. And I also think that as the executive board, we are where people look to decide what their level of involvement should be. So set a standard really high for yourself. Set a goal and reach for it.
Kate Prather.
Kate Prather, Franklin County and treasurer now. This is actually going to be my first full term on SLEC. I've only had 3 months on. You've heard my goals earlier. I'm sorry, I'm exhausted. I'm thoroughly exhausted. And with that, I am in the middle of getting all of our financial reports cleaned up and ready to go for the next meeting. If you have any questions, that's fine. I'm not going to be able to give you a solid answer at the moment. And the reason why is because we had to pull this whole new convention within 9 days with a whole brand new budget. And so there's a lot of new outgoing and incoming. And I still need some time to sort through it all. I will get you a really great report from the Treasury then. And we as the convention committee are determined to, it's probably the first one in I don't know how long, somebody could probably, a historian, say, the first time we'll actually file a convention committee report with SLEC. So those are going to be the next things that I will present to you the next time we meet.
Stephanie Weiss.
Hello, everyone. I hope y'all can hear me. Thank you, Arthur, for taking care of this while I'm not able to be there. But I started out as libertarian back in 1996. I was 16 and first worked on the Harry Brown campaign with Dr. Joe. So it's good to see everything come full cycle. It's good to be back involved with everyone. And I look forward to meeting everyone in person very soon. Thank you, everyone.
So was everybody here? Were there any, can you report the absences or anything like that?
Frank Lozano was the only absent.
So only one absence for this meeting. And according to our policy, we do have an attendance policy that some of you may know that you cannot miss 2 consecutive meetings. And I would like to exercise a little bit of chair's privilege here and say that Frank Lozano is excused. This convention was supposed to be in his backyard and he had to go back home and wasn't expecting to even have this trip. So hopefully that's not going to meet with any objection from you guys or with the secretary or with John.
I am going to ask for you to stick with me on this one because it has a happy ending. Okay. I am going to object.
Help us do it right.
Yeah, I am going to object to the chair exercising some chair's discretion on this because this being in our rules, I do not believe the chair has discretion to act on this manner. I believe this is a it is or it isn't. However, we also have rules about notification to this body before a meeting. And I would argue this body just came into existence. We couldn't have gotten that proper notification. So therefore, this cannot count for absences.
That works too.
Point of information. Arthur may be the guy that answered this, but on this rule, this affected me, and I know it's affected other members. You may think that it's a two absence rule, but it's really not. If you miss one meeting and you come to the second meeting, but you miss the roll call, which happens within like 5 or 10 minutes of calling in, then you're off the committee. So if you show up late to the second meeting after having missed the first one, you have technically missed 2 meetings, even though you're at the second one. So it's a weird rule that we need to change, but I want you guys to be aware of that because you can make that mistake and end up off this committee and there's nothing they can do about it or we can do about it to save you. So
thank you. All right, so the next item that I have on this agenda is just some remarks from myself and any of the officers that want to speak. You guys may have already said what you wanted to, but there were things that I want to cover with you, especially for those who are new. And some of you, as you did your introductions, already did this. I just want to first welcome you, of course, and thank you for your willingness to serve. This is sometimes not fun, and sometimes far away, and sometimes expensive. The reality is we pay to do this work. So I appreciate your willingness to do that and hope that you will continue to do it throughout the term. Some people have already directed you to Robert's Rules of Order. You will need to be familiar with that. If you paid any attention to the national convention, you will note that the way ours was done today or our SLEC meetings may not be to that extent, to that extreme. So you probably have some time to practice for that. But even just getting the Robert's Rules for Dummies and reading it cover to cover, that could be helpful. And having that with you from time to time and creating cheat sheets for yourself. I just ask that you would give that some consideration so that we can make sure our meetings go smoothly. Everybody gets the opportunity to speak and do the business that they need to do. Yes? Someone in the waiting room?
He's waiting to join. I added him. As soon as his connection lets him in, he'll be in.
Who is it?
It's Joe Roberts. He's been bouncing in and out.
Oh, okay. So the other thing is there's some other resources. Definitely you need to be familiar with our platform and our rules, which as you know were amended this weekend. So those will be updated. But in the meantime, if you could show just a quick link to where they are, LPTexas. Just
You
on our
want to
website.
show the web address or what?
That's
Or do you
fine.
want to actually show them?
Yeah, if you could just show them, it's lptexas.org, which is obviously our
Show the web
our
browser.
website, and then
Pull
under
up web browser
resources
up on
is
the
where
screen
these
to show.
documents are. There's one that it came out this weekend that most people were not familiar with, and some people didn't even realize existed, and it's a policy manual. In 2014, there was one in existence that was just convoluted and of no use to us at that point, and so SLEC put together a policy committee, standing policy committee, and we basically wiped out that one and started a new one with things that were relevant to our work at that time. And it was modified over time over the next 2 terms. This particular term, SLEC did not repopulate that committee, and so nothing has been done to the policy manual this particular term.
Yes, it is.
So,
Is it up here too?
Hang on.
but anyway, that is a document that you want to familiarize yourself with. And if you ever have any input on it or you see a need for a policy change or a policy addition, then that's something that you're welcome to bring up at our meetings. The Ignite, EGNYTE, is what we use as our file server. And so all of our documents, records from conventions, records from meetings, all of those kinds of things are stored on that system. You're going to need to be familiar with it, and you're going to need to make sure that you have access to it, because that's where we will be storing things. And if you ever need to reference archived documents or check meetings from, or minutes from a couple meetings ago, that's where that's going to be. It is not a fun application to use. Is it about Ignite? Okay. Yes, please.
I want to make the body aware there are many of you that are coming back onto SLEC from having been off it. And I set up the permissions on everyone's Ignite that they expired some couple days after the convention. So many of you will be losing Ignite access, and to that point, it will be up to the current administration to go reactivate those. So that is not anything she's doing, that is something I did. Thank you.
John, while you're there, does that apply to the forums as well?
I'm sorry?
Does that apply to the SLEC forums as well?
That does not apply to the SLEC forums. I will have to make you an admin, and that will all be manually done.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Okay, so the next thing is the.
Point of information I can address on the SLEC forums.
Let me tell them about it first, and then you can. So then the last thing that I wanted to point out that you will need to be familiar with, and Joe Burns already addressed it, is the SLEC forums. And I'm not sure what the URL is to get there, but anyway, you'll need to get there because that is where we actually conduct business between our real meetings. We hold official votes there. We have, legitimate discussions there. These are not Facebook discussions. These are not email threads. These are actual legitimate business being conducted electronically. And it is very important that you do get your access. Again, it is a little bit of a clunky program. I do not like it. I wish there was another option. If you do not already have access to that, then again, like they said, we will get that for you. And I know that some of you who are coming back also may need to have your username changed. That will be up to not me to sort out. So when we get to that point, but we will need to be doing that soon. But yes, if Lee Sharp has some input there.
Yeah, just, we have lptexas.org and .net. If you go to .net, it redirects you to .org. Unless you type forums after it, then it takes you to the forums. There is a packet up there that has that address. And, if you lose it, we can send you emails, but it's kind of convoluted and hidden on purpose so that, it just doesn't attract as much attention. Right now, no one is set to expire, and I have to get the list of people that didn't come back from Arthur, which will take a little bit of time, and the list of people coming in, which will take a little bit of time. And so give us about a week and the forums will, be up to date.
Thank you.
Point of information.
Yes, John Hom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to make sure that I understand the Ignite issue. Are we all universally on SLEC going to need to be re-credentialed, or was that just partial?
Hang on, John's going to answer that.
You bet.
Okay, so the way it's going to work, your profiles will still be in there, but everybody will lose access to Ignite. All it will take from the current administration is for them to go in and reactivate those permissions. Although I am not going to comment on what is going to happen as far as recredentialing, re-signing NDAs or any of that, because that is up to the current administration.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So those were just my recommendations to you guys, just so you can start off already up to speed as much as you can. That would be my request for this body. If either of you have anything else to add to, okay. Okay, so then the next thing that I want to accomplish today, really the only thing that I really want us to actually do today is determine the date of our next in-person meeting. I am going to propose to you 3 dates. These are to get us as far away from where we are right now without going too far, and then also as early before the holidays as we possibly can. So the 3 proposed dates that I have are October 24th, November 7th, and November 14th. That helps us avoid Halloween, which is a sacred holiday for some people. And it helps us avoid election day or election week. The 7th I know is right after the elections, so that may be a little uncomfortable for some of you. But that was just a date that I believe is appropriate for us. And at that time, we will be digging in a little bit more to our business, setting some expectations and making some decisions and working on a budget. Yes, October 24th, November 7th, and November 14th.
You can put that up there.
You gonna put it up?
Point of information, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Can we have a poll in Zoom on that by chance?
Yeah, I actually would like to make this decision as quickly as possible. So for you guys, it's pretty easy because a Zoom poll could work for y'all. We need to figure out in here how we're gonna do it, but it'll be up to these folks how they wanna do that. But yeah, I think a Zoom poll for you guys is probably what we're gonna do. Right? You can do that, okay. Just give us a few minutes.
Point of information.
Yes.
How quickly, in your opinion, and I'm also going to look at Lee a little bit here, do you think we could get the forums up and running? My question is, I think this would be well handled in a poll on the forum, and people would have a little more time to consider this.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, I'm probably not supposed to give my opinion on this, but I'm going to because this is the one thing that I wanted to accomplish today. I want this decision made today. And I think that with everything going on right now, a lot of stuff's canceled anyway. I think that people can look at their calendars for those 3 weeks and pick one that works best. And we can just go with it. We've got a lot of work to do. We are already very behind. And at that time, November 7th, we can do election reports, debriefings on how the elections went, things like that. So I think there's opportunity here. I think we need to make this decision today so people can actually start planning on something that hopefully won't be canceled before we.
Request for information?
Yes. Zoom.
Yes, this is Tony from SD19. For this meeting, would this be online and in person, or if it is in person, is there a location specified?
So as of now, it's an in-person meeting. There hasn't been a move to do otherwise. And also I would like to set the date and then allow our events department to come up with the most cost-effective, biggest bang for our buck location. What would be the most efficient and best suited for a group our size and to handle our needs. So I would leave that up to the events department. They can usually report back to us within 2 to 3 weeks on a couple options, and then we can decide there which one we're going with.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
could I speak in support of your motion for a vote now and explain a little why and answer John's question?
Sure.
Compiling the list of who left and who has joined SLEC is going to take some time, and I suspect that I'll get that list sometime this week. Then I will have to contact those people and give them instructions to joining the forum, and then they will have to respond to that. And having done this before on a smaller basis, as people come and go, I can tell you that some are going to have trouble. And so by the time we have everybody who is elected on the forums, I would say we would have 2 to 2.5 weeks of time, if or more. And I do agree that having as much advance notice is a good thing. So even though it's a little more convoluted to do today, I support Whitney's motion to have the vote on the meeting date today.
Thank you. Is there anybody, I'm gonna go back and forth between in-person and Zoom. Anybody in Zoom that is seeking to be recognized?
Anybody in Zoom?
Do we have any idea where this in-person meeting will be held? I think that affects the dates that people might favor.
Tim in here? Would you have any idea of which places you would be looking at for a meeting at that time of year? Yes, please.
I recommend South Texas in the winter, just for, don't be up north. So I try to look for South Central Texas. So those roads can be clearer. I can tell you that I'm comfortable with saying that, South Central Texas. So.
Thank you.
I believe that the October date is just right before the election and when our candidates ought to be out with a last minute push and there's staff and there's volunteers. But I favor the one immediately after the election on November 7th. So I would move to set the next meeting, in-person meeting for November 7th.
Just made a motion. Ms. Glass, just to be clear, that was an actual motion to make that. Okay, thank you. Okay. Did you get that? So then the poll is just going to be yay or nay on November 7th.
Hey, Chris, are you there? Would you be able to do a poll?
I am ready for the poll whenever you are.
Do you have an objection?
Thank you.
Yeah, don't do it yet.
So the motion was made to set November 7th as our next in-person meeting date. It was seconded, and I did hear an objection.
I have a motion to amend. I'd like to also add the opportunity for Zoom participation.
Did someone second? Okay. I also hear an objection. So at this point, we can debate whether or not we need to add the remote participation option. Yes.
Excuse the interruption, point of order. Are we already voting online?
No, sir.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Or do you?
May I speak to it?
Yes. There was
Okay.
objection, so go ahead. We need to debate it.
Right now, this is working pretty well. I know that the situation basically called for it out of necessity, but I don't anticipate any of the COVID restrictions disappearing magically by the time that we do meet next, if it does happen to be on November 7th. I think that given that, we should be respectful of people who might choose to participate remotely just on that basis alone. We seem to have the technical difficulties figured out. Thank you. Go ahead.
Point of information.
Is this germane?
I believe it is germane because we're trying to decide the location or the date of a meeting, and having this option right now during this time, I'm going to say it is okay. I think there are other people who might want to consider it as well. Oh, yes. A point of information on Zoom, Mr. Hom?
Actually, I'm sorry. Actually, it's more of a point of personal privilege. My apologies. Could we have, since we're doing the remote thing, we can't see everybody, could you please identify yourself and your SD when you speak?
Thank you. Yes. Okay, so at this time, we have a motion on the floor. We have an amendment to that motion that was seconded. There was an objection to the amendment. And the amendment is that we also allow online participation. Mr. Sherman, would it be Zoom that you're proposing, or just the same format that we've been using? Okay. Okay, so there was objection to that. So at this time.
Point of order on the motion, or the amendment, actually. So I'm not actually sure, thinking through our rules, and I don't have them pulled up in front of me, under what authority we can do this, but here's what I do know for sure. It took our state convention, the highest authority in this body, suspending the rules. It took a 2/3 vote from them to have an online meeting. I do not believe this body with any less of a vote can do the same. So I would say we at least need to suspend our rules and would question the legitimacy of it anyway. Thank you.
If you give me 1 second, I can bring it up.
Just be at ease for 1 second. The secretary wants to address that. Secretary and rules guru.
Yeah, we have, under the bylaws of SLEC, we have Section 4, electronic meetings. The Steady State Committee may, without meeting together in person, remotely transact business by electronic means.
If I may respond. Yes, I do agree with that. And if we are having an electronic meeting, that's fine. And there are some different procedures that are in place for an electronic meeting. But I think that's distinctive from an in-person meeting that follows our procedures for an in-person meeting, but then has this hybrid element to it where people can come in online. And if we are making this an electronic meeting, I think that is a different thing.
Okay, thank you.
I know you have to rule on this point of order, but I've got somewhat of a suggestion that may work. I would prefer that we pick the date first. I mean, Mr. Sherman, it's completely up to him whether he withdraws his amendment. But I would appreciate it if you withdrew that amendment, let us pick the dates, and then we can have the discussion. You can't. I don't know if you can. Okay.
So if I may, if the body agrees that that's what they want to do, we're going to need to vote down this amendment and then proceed with the original proposal.
I'm wanting to speak against the amendment.
Go ahead.
Lee Sharp, SD 13, Harris County, Houston, and General Payne in the. I love technology, but I would like to see a better system in place before we're relying on it. And we have an online way to conduct business and votes right now, the forums, which we will have in order. There's not a good substitute for that when you're trying to deliberate and actually discuss things and conduct business. I think 4 times a year is not unreasonable to conduct business in person. And I fully do expect this COVID catastrophe to be over the day after the elections, which, so if we are actually going to take November 7th, I fully expect there to be no COVID restrictions at all at that time. Thank you.
Is there anybody online seeking to be?
Michael Hansen, Senate
Go ahead.
District 25. Would a motion to divide be appropriate at this point? Or do we have to get through the amendment first?
No, we can divide at this point.
Then I would move to do so, and let's just select a date and then we can deal with the other later.
No, sorry, so sorry. No, there's nothing to divide. I thought you were telling me that it was. It isn't, no, we cannot divide it. It's an amendment within this thing, so they go together.
Okay, so we have to get through the amendment. Okay.
Correct. Dispose of the amendment.
Point of information.
Yes?
Sorry, could we have the amendment restated before we vote on it, please? Just when that time comes.
Yes, the motion is to hold our next meeting on November 7th, and the amendment is to allow online participation for that meeting.
I want to speak against the amendment. Our chair wants an in-person meeting. I want to support our chair. I call the question.
The question has been called. Yes, we will proceed to a vote on this amendment. And then on to call all questions or this question. Okay. Proceed to a vote on the amendment. Right. Any objection to proceeding to a vote on this amendment? Hearing no online, any objections?
Let's see if we can do a poll. I want to make sure that Chris is set up.
Okay.
Roll call.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready to do a poll?
Are you able to do it?
Let's find out.
Okay.
Poll's away.
I see.
We did not get a poll.
All right.
There we go.
Poll's away now. I launched it. Can anybody see it?
Yes, we got it.
What was the wording of that poll?
Are you in favor of the motion? It's the amendment. This is the amendment to add to use electronic.
Right, but we needed to vote to end a debate on.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, that's true.
This is called the question.
Yes. All right, so what were we doing earlier? Waiting for those results and then starting in here? Okay.
This is the call to question. Oh, well, I missed that.
I got a one-up on Arthur. That doesn't happen.
15 seconds remain. Polling has ended. Mike, what can you see?
Point of personal
I got
preference.
Yes, Mr. Ford.
For those of you who are new to the body, there's a lot of stuff going on. Tag on with somebody who's, got a lot of gray hair, who's been here a while, and ask questions like why. One of the questions that's asked is, well, why do we have to have something separate for this one for hybrid when we just did it for the state convention? Well, because the state convention had different rules versus the select. In their select rules, we have something that allows electronic meetings, which is how forum exists. So one of the questions is does that translate well? So if you're new, grab somebody who's been here a while, ask questions, that's how you learn.
They are.
We're done.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do our in-person vote on the amendment to allow on-person or allow online participation if indeed we do vote for November 7th as our meeting day. So all in favor of that, raise your hand. All in favor of the amendment to allow online participation? I see.
Oh,
I'm going to go ahead and count.
this is what?
This is the amendment.
Uh-huh.
Are you raising your hand?
I'm abstaining.
Okay.
I see 16, yeah. Okay, all opposed?
Gotta fly. A fly made me raise my hand.
Okay, thank you. What were the results?
12 yeas, 2 nays.
All right, so in person, we had 16 yeses and 20 nos, and online 12 yeses and 2 nos. So this is just a majority, right? Yeah.
No.
I made a point of order on whether this required a rule suspension or not. There was some discussion about whether it was an electronic or in-person meeting, but you never actually ruled on what this requires.
So I'm going to rule that it is in order and that a majority vote is what we need to do.
Point of
this.
information.
Yes.
Are you taking this as an electronic meeting then, if we do this?
We could call it an electronic meeting with in-person option. So yes.
I just, let me be specific about why I'm asking. There are different procedures and policies in place, and I want to know which ones we're going to be operating under when we go to this meeting. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So we're going to be operating under our rules for electronic meetings? Or are we going to be operating for our rules for in-person meetings?
Well, okay, that's a good point. As far as I'm concerned, this is an in-person meeting. I really don't know how to answer your question. So I don't know how to answer that question of whether or not this is going to be, I also want this to be an in-person meeting.
Okay.
So, but my rule is that it is in order to have you guys decide if online is going to be allowed. And I think that it's because we have the option for electronic meetings, I will just have to combine the methods. I really don't know specifically what things you're talking about in terms of the procedures.
Okay.
So maybe you can explain to the body what how the procedures would be different for them.
Instead of pulling out our bylaws and our rules, I am going to note objection to this process, which I've already done. And I'm going to go have a seat right over there and just, I'm told maybe I shouldn't go far.
Request for information. I don't have my rules here. I hope someone does. They're packed in the car, ready to roll. But my memory is that electronic meetings have a specific business item, and you must tell them, we are going to do X. And it's not just a free, open thing like an in-person meeting.
Was that a point of information?
That was a point of information? Yes. So and again, this is why it's important, because there are actually a good amount of rules, and I would need to go reference them. To my recollection, the rules on what we do with agendas and whether it has to be a single specific item or a broader agenda depend on the amount of notice given before the meeting is taken. And then that also depends on whether or not they count for removal requirements for that electronic meeting. So I'm telling you, it is very involved, the differences in these electronic and in-person meetings, which is why this is an important point.
Simple answer is yes.
So, given that information and after conferring with the secretary, I'm going to rule this out of order. And the motion to amend to allow online participation for that meeting is out of order. Thank you.
It would require a suspension of the.
Yes, it would require suspension of the rules. So thank you, John, for that. Thank you, John, for sticking around. So at this point, the amendment is out of order, so we are back to having November 7th as our next meeting date in person.
I call the question.
The question has been called. Okay, it was seconded. We do have objection to calling the question. So is there any, do you want to speak to your objection? Okay, so there is an objection to ending debate. We need to vote on whether or not we're going to end debate on calling the question. The question is, just again, November 7th is our next meeting date. There is objection to that. So someone has moved to call the question. I need, if you are in favor of calling the question, raise your hand. Oh, sorry. I forgot about the online people. Yeah.
Online calling the question?
Yes.
Who called the question?
Kyle.
Kyle, SD16.
Okay.
You got that, Chris?
Ready to go when you are.
We're ready.
All right, guys, we'll do you guys when they're done.
Voting on calling the question.
Thank you for your grace and patience during my first SLEC meeting.
Not that one.
On choosing a date.
We didn't receive a poll.
Yeah, that's not the one.
Okay, so we're ready to go on the poll then?
We got a results, not a poll.
Yep.
So the question is.
Okay. Well,
I just want to make sure that they know what we're ending debate on.
Plenty of information.
Yes, Mr. Hom.
Sorry, I just want to make sure we're voting on the date, November 7th, right?
No, right now we're voting on whether or not to call the question and then proceed to a vote on November 7th.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Basically, we're voting whether or not we're going to end the debate at this point.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm?
15 seconds remain.
17?
Don't go by that number because I'm on there.
I'm subtracting one.
There's
Oh.
18 and there's Chris, so minus 3.
Well,
So
Chris
15.
counts. Chris is
Chris
valid.
counts. Okay, so 16.
60.
And then we're done
Voting
online.
has ended.
Okay. All right. So once again, guys,
My,
in favor of ending debate on this question, raise your hand. Those opposed? It passes. What was the number in there?
8 yays, 6 nays.
And that is majority to end debate.
2/3.
So in here, it was clearly 2/3. And I mean, doesn't get 2/3.
Hey,
I'm
Mike,
gonna
did you
say
catch
that
my vote?
It clearly passed.
It clearly passed, yeah. And for sure in here with the online not making much difference. Okay, so we're ending debate. We are back to the original motion, which was to have our next meeting on November 7th. Do the online first.
Online.
Yes.
Chris voting for November 7th.
Poll is away.
Okay, it's done.
All right, so all in favor of November 7th being our meeting date, raise your hand.
15 seconds remain.
Oh,
It's showing everyone voted, Chris.
all right, thank you, and all opposed.
Shut it off then. Polling online is complete.
Oh, how was it there?
Everyone had voted already.
What's the results?
7 and 7.
Well, it was a clear majority in here, so I'm gonna rule that it did pass. So November 7th is the meeting day, next meeting day. So we'll direct our events department to come up with some ideas for where we could go and reasonable cost and distance if possible. And how much time do you think you need? Okay, and then hopefully by then we will be able to, on the forum, make the decision and, okay. Okay, thank you for that. Was all of the business that I had intended for today. I was hoping to get us out by 5, sorry.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes,
might I make a motion?
sure.
Okay. Arthur, would you be so kind to pull this up?
This the one you. What? What?
Arthur, the motion I sent you, could you pull it up, please?
Okay.
Everybody's a little punch drunk. While we're waiting for that, by the way, I had a chance to talk to Kate during some of the events, and a really good idea emerged, which this isn't the motion, this is while we're waiting for it to be pulled up, which is small communities like this really welcome us. I believe it was Lubbock that even gave us a little gift basket when we got there. And so when we go to major cities to have our select meetings or have our, conventions, we're just, dropping the hat. We're not recognized. We're not welcomed. When we go to smaller communities, well, you've seen the kind of welcome that we get. So not a motion, but I would highly recommend when we're looking at event venues, we take a look at locations like this.
They can't see the whole thing.
Anytime everything gets on.
Okay, we ready for the motion?
I got it.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Here's my motion. Motion for the creation of the LPTexas Leadership Academy. LPTexas will create the LPTexas Leadership Academy with Scott Ford as the intern dean of the academy. It's a temporary thing. Scott will present a report at the next select meeting to review his findings, recommendations, and answer questions related to the academy. Select will vote at that meeting to either continue the project or terminate it. I'd like to speak to this. Thank you. I'd like to speak to this as you guys have probably getting tired of hearing this from me. This allows me to get started on the process. This allows me to start talking to people, email people, communicate with people. But this also keeps me on a leash. So I can't go nuts. I can't get, merch made and shirts and mugs and all this other stuff. But what this does is it allows me to start this process. And then at our next select meeting, I report back to you all, tell you what's going on, tell you what the project looks like, answer questions, concerns, things like that. And then this body decides whether or not we pursue this any further. I would also suggest that at that meeting, you also decide whether or not I'm doing a good job and keep me in charge of this project or find somebody else. So I encourage everybody to vote yes for this motion.
Mr. Ford, can I ask you a question?
No.
Is
Of course.
Do you believe that a vote from SLEC right now is required in order for you to start doing these things? And
I know there's excellent question. I know there's a history of folks in this party who just go forward. But for something like this, because of the very collaborative nature that this is, because it requires cooperation, it's better that we do this. It's just, it shows that we're behind this idea. It shows that we believe in this idea. And this, again, has to be a very collaborative, cooperative process, because I'm asking people about their greatest accomplishments and their greatest failures. And so I personally would love to have a select vote on this, whether they approve it or not. Yeah, and if it fails, then I'm going to be playing some more computer games.
Madam Chair, I have a request for information.
Yes, sir.
In past select meetings, has a project proposal been presented to the committee?
Yes, there have been. However, we do, in our policy manual, have a procedure for special projects. Do those only relate to ones that require funds?
What?
Do those only relate to ones that require funding?
It mostly centers around funding, but it doesn't have to. But a lot of the concern is funding.
So if this were to be submitted that way, would it have to wait for the next meeting to be started?
It doesn't, there's no requirement. I mean, I can speak to why the policy exists.
Okay, so I just want to continue what I was saying. There is in our policy manual a procedure for getting started with special projects. Typically, those special projects have some sort of budget request attached to them. In this case, that's not what's happening.
No, I'm not asking.
What I would propose in this case is for us to have an opportunity to get experience with our policy manual and possibly go through that route with it. Arthur can actually speak to that procedure a little more in depth if you.
Well, got on my glasses. Sorry. The special projects policy is mostly the questions that guides are about funding and what to do with the funding. Just because we've had people that want to do a project and then they would just go to the donors and try to sidestep the whole party to go do their own thing. And so SLEC set this up and said, this is the way to properly say you want to do this. This doesn't really, I mean, there's not a funding component for this right now, clearly. So anyone can do a thing. And as pointed out, you don't need SLEC's permission either, but you clearly want SLEC's nod of some sort to do this.
I would say call it a vote of confidence.
Okay.
Whether or not that we are going to, give serious consideration to this and see if we can do this, or if we're just going to do business as normal and do people
Sure.
figure it out on your own.
So I mean, I can't guide whether this is appropriate or not. This body will have to decide that, but that we have that, but it's mostly around funding.
So a favorable vote on this today from SLEC would have what effect? Mr. Ford, what effect would you say that it would have?
What effect would have me start working on this? It would have me starting to reach out to folks to explain what we're doing, to actually work on the proposal, to start to take a look at what the objectives are going to be of this, what's the scope of this project. It would also allow me to start talking to some people who want to volunteer. After a state convention, I had people come up to me and said, hey, I want to be part of this project. I want to volunteer with this project. So it allows me to begin the basic parts of this. There's not going to be any courses developed right off the bat, but it just allows me to, who's interested, who wants to participate? Do you want to volunteer? What's the scope are we going to do? Where are we going to start with this first? Are we going to jump right into SLEC training, or are we going to look at county training? It allows me to start reaching out to members of our party that have this wealth of experience to start those conversations.
Okay.
And because this is going to be a major undertaking to do, and again, there's not a lot of cost in this because, I do this for a living. So all the tools and all of that stuff's already been taken care of. But because this is going to be such a major undertaking to do, I don't want to spend 3 months going down this road, go to a SLEC meeting, and nothing happens.
Okay.
So
we have a long line there, so thank you for that information. Anybody online seeking to be recognized at this time?
Anyone online?
I am. Yes.
So we have a motion, I guess they're able to see it, right? For SLEC to create the LPTexas Leadership Academy with Scott Ford as I can't read that from here.
Begging your pardon, Madam Chair, I think Mr. Trojak asked to be recognized.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, just information requests. I just want to know if some initial homework or what have you, no reinventing the wheel, that sort of thing, that had already been looked into. Just kind of a general question, not trying to shoot it down. Sounds like a great idea. Just wondering out loud.
Can I respond? Let me respond to that. So since I started talking about this, and I'm not going to name names, I've had one individual come up to me talking about a possible wiki page. The policy manual that was discussed earlier today, didn't even know that existed. I'm on my 3rd term. And the minute I start talking about it, oh, hey, we got a policy manual. That's awesome. I'm glad we have a policy manual. So by me starting this, there is information out there, but it just hasn't been centralized. It hasn't been made publicly available. And again, that's not through anyone's fault. This is not like anyone's hoarding information. It's just nothing like this has been done in this party. And so there's no central location to find this information. And the irony of this is you have to know what you're looking for. And an academy like this prepares people to at least start asking the right questions.
Anybody in person seeking to be recognized?
Yes. John Wilford, Senate District 12. I rise to speak against this motion. And I'm actually, I heard about this when you posted the online live stream talking about it, and I was really excited, and I still am really excited and would love to help with this. But I can tell you, having been on the administrative side of this party, there is no better, more efficient way to squash out hard work than to let SLEC start voting on it. And I don't think, I want to see this happen. And I don't think that the best thing is to get SLEC involved in the work you want to do. If you want to work, go work. So with that said, I do want to propose a substitute amendment that says, be it resolved that SLEC supports Scott Ford creating the LPTexas Leadership Academy. Done.
I consider that a friendly motion or
amendment.
It's been a long day. I consider that a friendly amendment.
My name is Kevin Hale. I rise to speak against because we already have this available to you. Libertarianleadership.org is where I started. This is a libertarian national organization, Libertarian Leadership Academy. You can find them 307 libertarianleadership.org. It's a $5 membership. You're available to get through all of their videos. I learned a lot of information and I've applied it to my campaign. So I'm not sure, and I love you, Scott. I'm not trying to be mean. I love you. We already have this. I think what we're trying to do, I think we're just trying to duplicate what's already been done for us. If we would just advertise the fact that we have it already. Thank you. I yield.
So was the amendment?
Is this a substitution?
Yes. So we have a substitution to the amendment that was made by Mr. Wilford. Was it seconded?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Can I speak to that point?
Hang on
That
one second.
Mr. Hale just raised.
Hang on one second.
Spelled substitution.
Once we get it up here, I will ask if there's objection to it.
Roger that.
Oops. Okay. It's on the screen. You might have to scroll down.
Is it there?
That's it.
All right, so there was a motion to amend by substitution, and the language of it is there. The motion is to state, be it resolved that SLEC supports Scott Ford creating the LPTexas Leadership Academy. Are there any objections to this amendment?
Objection.
Okay, there's been an objection to the amendment. So is there anybody who would like to speak? I would speak to your objection. Who was that? Who objected?
This is Brooke Bailey, SD 12.
Okay, Brooke, would you like to speak to your objection?
Sure. I would like more information about this before authorizing Mr. Ford to use the LPTexas brand outside of SLEC. And party official business. I just, am concerned about branding it LP Texas if the state party isn't actually running it.
Can I respond to that objection, please?
So you're going to speak in,
Yeah,
well,
it's a good point, but the thing is there would be no branding at this point. The branding stuff wouldn't even come until after, and that's why we'd have a follow-up meeting whether to keep pursuing this. I agree with that. You don't want somebody just running around using branding, and that would not happen.
so but the name of it would be LP Texas Leadership Academy. And Ms. Bailey, that's what you're objecting to, is that it would be called that?
Yes, that is my objection.
So that objection is not actually to the amendment. So, Mr. Ford, do you have, can you offer something that resolves that objection?
An alternative name?
Mr. Wilford, if an alternative name were to be proposed right now, what would that do to your amendment? If that clears the objection?
I honestly, my point in the amendment was to support Scott Ford. I don't care what the name is. I'm fine if we amend this to say SLEC support Scott Ford, creating a leadership academy. That's fine. Leave LPTexas off.
Call all pending questions.
Okay, all questions have been called. Right now we are dealing with an amendment by substitution and which, as you can see it on the screen, I can't see it. So at this time, we need to move to vote on this. And we still have to, there's objection, yes. Is there objection to ending debate on it? All right, so we are moving to a vote on this amendment, which is basically substituting what Mr. Ford proposed with what is currently on your screen and highlighted. We need a poll.
The poll is on the substitute motion, Chris.
Oh, I agreed to that. Did he agree to that?
Yes, John.
And we're going to be starting to spool it back in.
Okay, give us 1 second, guys. We're gonna make an adjustment on this to remove LPTexas from it.
Madam Chair, would you please clarify for the body that, am I to understand that we are first going to vote on the substitution by Ms. Bailey?
Correct.
Then we are going to vote on
Correct.
the amendment by John Wilford?
Yes. John, did you agree to remove LPTexas from your amendment?
I'm fine with it. I think procedurally the correct thing to do, since it was seconded, would say, is there any objection to removing LPTexas? And if there was no objection, we could go.
Okay, is there any objection to removing LPTexas?
Madam Chair, Jack Westbrook from Senate District 31. I don't believe the motion was ever made, and I'm open to correction, but I don't believe that motion was ever made to change that.
I believe Mr. Westbrook is actually right. What happened was I asked Mr. Wilford if he would object to it, and he agreed to change it.
So is it a leadership academy?
You gotta go now.
What are we voting on now?
I can tell you what I have in the minutes.
What?
I can tell you where I am in the minutes. I have a question because Joe Burns called all pending questions, and then I'm unclear what happened after that. We just sort of moved on.
Well,
we need to decide.
We were going to vote, but Mr. Westbrook pointed out that the amendment to change LPTexas, to remove
And
LPTexas was never made.
And I don't have record John's comment as a motion because it was a comment, so it's not in the minutes. So that's what I have. And that would be my suggestion. But I would go back to us voting on calling the question because that was not clear whether that had been approved or not by this body. So I would go there.
You mean removing LPTexas?
No, that motion was never made. It was a comment from John.
Okay.
Request for information?
Yes, Ms. Glass.
Can we vote yes on the pending motion and then come back and have a different motion that leaves off LPTexas?
So all questions have been called, which means we need to vote on that right there as the amendment to Mr. Ford's proposal. Yes, correct. If that is adopted, then that becomes the main motion. And then if somebody needs to change it at that point, we
Yes.
reopen it for amendment. Okay, so it is correct that removing LPTexas was never done. Or it was never moved. So at this point, all questions have been called, and the questions on the floor, we have to vote on whether or not to end debate on that amendment right there.
Madam Chair, request for information.
Yes.
Jack Westbrook, SD 31. It's my understanding of the rules that since all questions have been called, that if this one does not pass and we go to the previous one, then an immediate vote on that one has to be taken.
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct. All right, so at this time, we are voting to end all debate on all pending questions. Poll first.
Got a poll going?
Mhm.
Thank you.
A yes vote ends debate, and we vote immediately.
It's a vote to call all pending questions.
Yes. It's generic text, man.
I just want to make sure they understood.
You do, you just have to watch and learn for a while.
While you wait, everybody.
Hey, Whitney, in your text, I took pictures of what's up there.
Okay, thank you.
15 seconds.
I want to just point out, I'll use a point of personal privilege. That's not really a point of personal privilege, but the more y'all talk and stuff, the more I have to write. So please stop talking.
Poll has ended, Madam Chairman.
Okay, live and in-person people. We are now voting to end debate on all pending questions. If you want to do that, raise your hand. Okay, and no? Those voting no to end debate. Clearly gets 2/3 in here.
Online is 11 yays, 2 nays.
Sweet. Okay, we are ending debate on this. We're proceeding immediately to vote on that amendment, which you can, if you move the poll, yeah. All right, so that is the amendment being considered now.
Point of information.
Yes?
Or maybe
So
it's-
can I say something real quick? Something that has been getting on my nerves all weekend. It's actually a request for information if you are going to ask a question.
Sure.
There is technically no such thing as a point of information anymore where you give information. So are you going to ask a question?
Actually, I was about to change it to a point of personal privilege.
Okay.
But you caught me. So my point of personal privilege would be to clean that screen up, get rid of the substitute that's already been dismissed, and make it very clear what we're voting
It has
on.
not been dismissed.
It's not that we're, my bad.
Yes.
I'm confused, sorry.
Thank you.
That's our next step, Joe.
Okay, we are immediately moving to a vote on what's highlighted right there. That is the substitute. And if this passes, then we immediately vote whether or not to adopt it. If this fails, we revert back to Mr. Ford's original one.
Madam Chair, I have a request for information. If we vote all of these down right now and adjourn, does that mean that we can't take this up at the next meeting with more consideration?
It does not mean that.
So hold on, let me see if I get this straight. We can just vote this down, not out of bad form or not out of rudeness to Mr. Ford. We can vote this down. I'm just asking a question. If we can vote this down and still take this up at the next meeting and with consideration and thoughtfulness.
If
I just wanted to make sure I was clear on
to be
that.
on the agenda, then yes, we can do that.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, somebody online?
This is Jeff Adams, SD 10. If we vote all this down right now, we can take it up on the select forum, right? Hash it out?
That is
for a couple of
correct.
weeks?
We could also do that.
That's what I'd recommend.
Can we vote?
Point of personal
Yes.
privilege?
Yes.
Or request for information.
Thank
This
you.
is all assuming that Scott is willing to do it if it's voted down, correct?
That point's already been made. Thank you. All right, we are proceeding to vote. Is the poll out on this?
No. Are we
Okay.
ready to vote?
Yes.
Let's put the poll up on the highlighted amendment. Thank you.
Poll is away.
Thank you, sir.
So this is the actual yay for the motion, nay for the motion?
For the amendment to the original motion.
Motion
Yes,
to
for the
amend.
substitute privilege. So what's highlighted on the screen to replace what Scott had originally?
Madam Chair, point of personal privilege.
Yes, sir.
Jack Westbrook from SD 31. I have a long drive home today. We are past the hour scheduled for this meeting. I have to write a WBS project when I get home and it's due by 2 o'clock. And I would ask the body to consider that point of personal privilege when they vote.
Thank you.
Polling online is complete.
It's done.
Okay. All right, in person, all in favor of the substitute motion that's on the screen, raise your hand. Okay, all opposed? All right. It carries in the room. Sweet.
11 yeas, 3
Okay,
nays.
so we now have, this is now the main motion. We are now going, so you can remove substitute, all that. It is now the main motion. We are now voting automatically to adopt, whether or not to adopt this, the proposal by Mr. Ford. So online.
Ready for a poll on this motion?
I think vote signaling is illegal in our rules.
Can you put that poll up?
Illegal. Illegal.
that's only
Or
for
against our
conventions.
rules.
I think it's only.
Is it for only for conventions? Okay. Is the poll away?
Chris, I've not seen a poll.
Well, if you're doing it where people can.
Poll is away, Madam
I just
Chairman.
ended it. I just clicked it as it popped up under my icon. Try it again.
Madam Chairman, point of personal privilege, if you could let me know explicitly when to start the poll, that would be super awesome.
Yeah, we did. Let's start the poll now.
Ahora.
That is Mike Dooling's job.
Start the poll.
I'm starting the poll now. Poll is started. Polling has ended because everyone has voted.
Thank you. All right. Live and in person, folks. If you support this motion and want to adopt this proposal, raise your hand. Thank you. Noes? Online?
9 yes, 6 no.
Okay, it is adopted.
Madam Chair. Madam
That's
Chair,
right. Yes.
I move to adjourn.
Point of information. Just one quick.
Thank you.
I object. That's nice.
Okay, we've had a motion to adjourn and we've had an objection.
And a point of information.
Yes, there's no such thing.
A request for information.
Thank you.
I learn slowly when I have no sleep. Is the credential report ready? I believe there might be a motion on the floor coming based on whether or not the credentials report information has been passed on to the executive committee.
oh,
Madam Chair, can you?
I am not aware of any motion right now that's been made by anyone in this body that is asking for that. Right now, they do not owe us a report for anything.
Okay. Okay.
it's the previous one anyway.
There is no convention body now. It's done.
So we have a motion to adjourn on the floor and an objection. So we need to, it is not debatable. We just need to move to a vote on whether or not we're going to adjourn. So
Let's start now.
Are we ready?
We're ready now. We'll go.
Poll is away.
Thank you, sir.
Polling is complete.
all right, everybody here, if you support adjournment, raise your hand. Opposed to adjournment, raise your hand. We are adjourned.
Hang on. Online had to vote.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
And they happen to be 12 yeas, 2 nays.
Okay.
No love, no love.
Thank you, everyone. We'll have some comments and such going on in Discord later. Thank you very much. We've had an outstanding convention and SLEC meeting.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great night. Talk to y'all later.
Thank y'all.
All right,
It was
y'all.
a pleasure.
Peace. Love you all.
Love you. We need to go out for drinks, man. Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone.